Hiya, welcome back to Petals on the Paving Slabs. Today I'm going to be looking at the fig tree that I bought about 3 years ago from an English supermarket for our American friends that watch these videos. It's called Morrison's. It's a little bit like Walmart, but not quite as many soccer mums, I suppose. And it was £2. And when I bought it, it was nowhere near as big as it is now. It was literally, if you look into the middle of the plant, it was that stick with a few green buds coming off the side, and so it was about what, 8 to 10 inches high. And as yet, 3 years later, we've never had any figs. There was one last year that started growing, but I think it either fell off or one of my daughters knocked it off or a bird had it, so we've never actually had any figs yet. Right, how do we go about looking after it? Well, you might think, why has he got what is going to be a tree in a relatively smallish container? I'd say it's about 1.5 feet high and about 1 foot wide and 1 foot back. So it's not the world's biggest container, but with figs you need to contain the roots, because what will happen otherwise is if they have an enormous root run, you'll get loads of foliage and not as many fruits. So it's kind of like tricking the tree. But the flip side of that is there's only so much compost with the nutrients in that compost has that we can put into that container. So every now and again, especially in the growing season, I give it a bit of a liquid feed. And what I do at the how long did I do it? It was about a month ago. Start of springtime, roughly. I removed the mulch off the top and I mixed in some bloodfish and bone into the soil, and it's done well. Because if you look, see, like, it's brown, that's last year's growth, and then there it starts going green, that's all this year's growth, and it's still doing quite well now. So another thing we can do to encourage it to fruit, if you work on the general rule of thumb that branches equals fruit, and the more branches we have, the more fruit we could potentially get off a tree. It's a little thing called pinch pruning, where you nip out the top, so a little bit like you do on tomato plants and sweet peas. So can you see the top bud? That's called the apex. If we just nip it off, and I'll tell you about something about what will happen once I've done it. Right, once I've done it, can you see there's a white milky sap? That's quite high in latex. So if you've got a latex allergy, don't do it with your bare hands like I am. Wear some gloves, because some people are sensitive. That's brilliant. If you look there, it's actually bleeding. It's leaking. You see the droplet of it? There you go. So if you've got a latex allergy, wear gloves, because some people can be quite sensitive to it. Now don't worry, that's not going to damage the plant. That will scab over in a few hours, especially while the sun's still out shining, and that'll dry up and the plant will heal itself. But what I've done, by nipping off that top part, which I'm just going to compost, by leaving it on, the plant is going to keep growing up and up and up from that tip. By taking the tip off, it encourages the plant to put more side shoots on, which means more branches, which means more fruit. So it's for the same kind of reasons that we pinch out the tops of things like sweet pea plants. It just encourages more side shoots that you get more flowers on. So that's my fig tree. The varieties are brown turkey, which are quite good for growing in northern bits of the UK, because they can take a little bit of frost in the winter. Now what some people do is, in autumn time, they'll try and keep the fig tree going so the leaves don't fall off with the colder weather, by either putting it in a heated greenhouse or polytunnel, or some people will even have it indoors in the house in like a conservatory that's got a radiator or something like that. Now I don't. It's on a south facing wall, so it gets a good amount of sun. The most thing I've ever done with this, one winter we'd watched the weather report, we knew we were going to have a particularly hard frost. I just wrapped some fleece around it, and it comes back every spring, and it's quite a vigorous grower. So you can see in 3 years it's put on more than a metre's worth of height in its growth. But as I say, as yet we've not had any figs from it. A little bit of research I've done, you're probably looking 4 or 5 years old, then we should start getting figs. So if we don't get any forming this year, next year will be the year. Yep, and we get the benefit of that wonderful fruit, the fig. I'm sure it's one of those superfoods. So yeah, that'll be nice. It'll save us a few quid as well. We'll have our own supply right here just outside my kitchen door. So fantastic, that's my fig tree. If anyone's got any other little tips and tricks that they use when they're looking after their fig tree, please leave a comment, because I'm always up for learning new skills in the garden, and I'd be really interested to hear how you guys look after your fig trees, or if there's any other sort of varieties. I mean, as I said, this one's the brown turkey. If you know of any others that are good for northern parts of the UK that would survive our climate, then please just let me know in a comment. So thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe for more free gardening related videos.